Scientist, artist, or madman? What does it take to become a master blender? Well, today, we're going to meet one of those masters. This is Stay Smokin'.
Two.
Are you ready for this? Ready? Have to take a breath. Italian-born master blender and tobacco consultant, 25 years of hands-on experience in the premium cigar industry, entered the cigar business in Dominican Republic in 2001, learned alongside legendary Davidoff master blender Henke Kellner, served as a master blender, director of operations, and president of Mombacho Cigars, founder and CEO of CST Consulting. His expertise covers the entire tobacco journey: cultivation, fermentation, tobacco selection, blending, cigar production, international distribution. He's actually created a lineup specifically for us at Cigar Chief: the Classic Habano Toro, the Classic Habano Robusto, Classic Connecticut's Classic Habano Cigarillos. He understands tobacco from the field to the finished smoke. 25 years, multiple countries, every stage of tobacco production. Today, we get to pick the brain of Master Blendo, Claudio Segroy. Master Blender, Claudio Segroy. Whew, that is a mouthful. Claudio, welcome.
I'm impressed. How do you know all those things?
I know things, and I have people. Lots of people.
Pull the mic closer.
Yes. I gotta pull my mic closer. Yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to aggrandize your head there, but come on. I mean, these are all facts, no?
You're just missing. I was president of the tobacco chamber in Nicaragua as well.
Well, there we go.
You messed up.
Yes.
I messed up. I'm so sorry. I'll leave now. I'll take my last paycheck. So I want to start off by asking you, how would you define yourself? Scientist, artist, or madman?
Aficionado.
Aficionado.
Yes.
Does that encompass all three?
No, you know what? More than aficionado, I don't want to be rhetoric and all that stuff. All the things I did in all these years, it has been for one thing: the passion for tobacco. It is not only traveling, knowing things about tobacco, cigars, or working in cigar factories. Driven by the passion. This is something. There is not something in the middle. Yeah. Oh yes, I like a little bit sometimes. Or yes or no. Yeah. So for me, since the first second I stepped inside the tobacco industry, I said yes.
But your step into the tobacco industry is not your usual step. I mean, you were 25 years ago. You were a translator, an Italian translator, an Italian teacher. You were a musician prior to that as well, I believe.
In another life, yes.
In another life, yeah. But you were interpreting for Henke, I think.
Yes.
Explain that. What happened there? Because that's where the passion started, right?
Yeah, I'm not the third generation Cuban-born that knows that
typical
I was
story.
Born, under a tobacco plant or a plantation or something like that. Nothing. I was already living in Dominican Republic, and I was a teacher, a translator, an interpreter. And one day, one lady, Olga, thank God she called me.
Olga, thank you very much.
Yes, Olga, I know. And she was looking for an interpreter because a group of Italians owning, retailers from Italy, they were going to visit the Davidoff factory plantation for 1 week. And they were looking for someone translating from French, English, Spanish to Italian. Because, of course, a group of Italians, you need to translate everything.
Yes.
I remember the first day I arrived in Santiago, ready with my, little shirt and a tie. I was already sweating, nervous because, of course, interpreter, but I didn't know anything about tobacco.
Nothing.
I was smoking cigars at that time.
Wow.
So I was afraid not to know certain technical words, the translation and those things, right? So I remember we had the introduction from the world ambassador of Davidoff to the retailers. That was from French to Italian. And then Henke Kellner stepped inside the room. And I already felt something like, this
he has a presence.
This is the guy.
Yeah.
I think this is the guy.
Yeah.
So he started, always with a cigar in the mouth and talking like this, like a cigar. So it is not tobacco. It's your friend. He's telling you. And I was there translating, watching him. I was like, oh boy, I want to be like him. After 30 seconds, I said, I want to be like him.
Wow.
Of course, being like Henke,
Not
I'm
easy.
still missing like 60, 70 years.
Yeah, exactly,
In the
yeah.
industry, maybe more. But it was really someone that pulled off of me that passion that I didn't know to have about this.
Now, was your passion for his passion, or was the passion for the tobacco industry itself?
He said that you are passionate.
But
I can see
he
that.
recognized that. He
Yes,
quoted
yes,
his
he's-
quote to you was,
Yes, after that week, he said, I can see something in you. I know you are passionate, and let's work on this.
and how does one go from, like, you're an interpreter, you're doing what you just said you do, and then for him to recognize that, how do you go, okay, I wipe my hands from what I was doing, and now I'm going to go in here, and what kind of a risk he took to take you on, or how does that
The
bridge
risk
happen?
it wasn't really for him, because he had a beautiful factory, the structure. I mean, I had maybe the best school about tobacco or to be introduced into the industry because he's a legend.
Of course.
So already being a legend for me it was like, oh, I'm learning really from the true masters,
Yeah.
legends of
Yeah.
this. But it was my sacrifice. These days, I can say it was, a huge sacrifice to work in Dominican Republic. Then I moved to Geneva from Dominican Republic.
That's a big move.
Yes, it was.
I mean, closer to home, but
Yeah.
still a big move.
Yeah, but a new country, different job. I worked for almost 3 years in Geneva at the Davidoff shop in Geneva. The first one opened by Zino Davidoff.
Wow.
That was a magnificent, another magnificent experience.
Yeah. You started at the Olympics.
They said I was looking forward to coming back to Europe after 3 years in Dominican Republic. I can tell you, it wasn't easy.
Sure, of course.
So I had a little bit of not nostalgia, but I was like, okay, I need to be a little bit in a different environment for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was working always with the company, and they said, okay, go to Geneva. You have been working in Dominican Republic. I've been to the factory, plantation, everything. So you speak 4 languages. So
Makes
good
sense.
for you.
Yeah.
And, I think I did a very good job.
Well,
And
good enough,
after-
obviously. Yeah.
Yes. And after 2.5 years in Geneva, they proposed to me to be the brand manager of Davidoff and the entire portfolio of Davidoff for Italy.
Wow.
So it was
What
for
a
me
jump.
a huge jump into my career
Yeah.
within Davidoff, and then I was going back home. So for me, it wasn't really going back home, but it was like working with another magnificent
The
company.
return of the prodigal son.
Yeah, and then a responsibility of everything related to Davidoff for one country.
Yeah.
So it was
Wow.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
huge. That is huge.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's incredible.
Sacrifices. I can tell you,
Sacrifices.
back then I was like 25, then 28, then 30 years
When
old.
we can risk to
You can pack with a backpack.
Yeah.
And moving. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
And many times I didn't think twice. Now, I should say I never thought twice before, moving. But for me, it was like, okay, you are calling me, I'm coming.
That's
Because the
perfect.
passion was always there. And, it wasn't really, to be called the brand manager Davidoff. It was like, wow.
Yeah,
If they are calling me for this, they believe I can do a great job. So I'm going.
Where did you find the confidence there, though? Because there's times when people have said to me, like when I was that age,
Yeah.
and said, okay, you know what? We don't have. Here was a situation. I was asked to be a production assistant
Yeah.
for a big multimedia project. And the day I arrived, it was a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And it was for a line of candies.
Yes.
And the delivery brought the wrong product. They said they had to move the shoot to Friday. I said,
Yeah.
oh, I'm still available. And the director said, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Can you do it? And I just graduated from university maybe 3 months before. And I was like, oh, in my head, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I said, this is an opportunity. I said, sure. It worked out, but took the risk.
For me, I didn't really realize at that time, like 15 years ago, how much I knew about tobacco because I'm still learning.
Of course.
For me, it was more be humble.
Be humble.
Yes.
Of course.
Be
Yeah.
humble because you are still going to learn a lot.
Yeah.
And I did it. And I still doing it. And then it was show your passion. Because of the passion that came, from seeing one seed, the implantation, then fermentation, then factory, and then selling cigars in a shop, and then distributing the cigars, and then managing people. I was ramping up every year, so I didn't think about I'm confident that I can do it. I was just like, I know something. Let me see if I can use this for the next step.
Yeah. So you saw it. You saw it and lived it in steps.
And every time I change, country and job, I was learning more and more and more. Before to work in Italy, for example, I didn't know about distribution. I didn't know about the mother company that is, present in 127 countries, doing that job, and I'm managing with mother office in Switzerland, and then distributing in Italy through the local distributor. They gave me like, okay, you know about cigars, you know that about, go for it. I was like, yeah, this is.
And this is how many years after meeting Henke?
After 6.5.
Okay, so some time. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So you had some time. Before I ask my next question, we gotta smoke a cigar.
I mean, I was waiting you to tell me, okay, what cigar you want to smoke?
I'm so sorry.
Like, no, this is a cigar you want to smoke.
Yeah, I'm forcing the issue here, and we're smoking a Wise Man Foundation Maduro Double Corona. So please pick up your stick. Please.
But I have to say, you picked a good one.
Did I? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna take credit, but the truth is, Kayla picked this for us. Thanks, Kayla.
Thanks, Kayla.
You're welcome.
Now
I try my best.
I'm watching. Look at this. I'm watching the master cut. Do we
you
need a
know-
different cutter?
I'm using the cutter, but I shouldn't say. Usually, I don't use a cutter.
Really?
I use my nails.
You use your really?
That's
That's interesting. Go ahead and do what you normally do.
We are always with cigars in the hands and trying and smoking. So sometimes I just
Really?
snatch
Eh?
it. Oh yeah.
And you don't get the bits or whatever. It's not. Even though it's not a clean cut, it's okay.
Mhm.
Now, did you play guitar?
I did.
So then, did you have the nails for the? if you
Now
played-
I'm cutting my nails, but I knew.
Of course.
I
So you played you played nylon guitar. Okay, that makes sense. I'm gonna go for my favorite cut is a V cut.
big cut. Interesting.
Yeah, a little bit more surface area without getting too big. Actually, I'm gonna
Yeah.
do a. You know what? I'm gonna do a cross cut. Maybe that's too much, but that's okay. And you like a jet,
It's more practical.
more practical.
Yeah,
Okay.
for me, every day we are with cigars, smoking and trying. Everybody says, how many cigars do you smoke a day? I don't know. Because many times I just try them and then I leave on the ashtray half down. Or when I smoke for me, when I have, my half hour, 1 hour that I smoke in a cigar, with my nails, I cut it. And then, with the gel light.
That's incredible. I've never heard of somebody doing that, and that's incredible. So anybody who does that, I'm not going to fault you. This guy does it. That's incredible. You ever heard of that, Cole? Yeah. Cole's over here, by the way. He usually sits here. Cole's over there. He's working the cameras today to make sure we got beautiful shots of the master here. But I've never heard of that before. Biting. Do you ever bite the end of the cap?
I don't bite the cigar, but I like to get the head a little bit wet because sometimes I taste a little bit,
The more flavor.
More flavor. Yeah. Interesting.
and I like it to have the cigar in my mouth. So I don't really chew the cigar, but if I like a lot the cigar, at the end it's gonna be wet and chew.
Yeah, that's what's funny because my first cigar, I lucked out with my first cigar when I first started really smoking only 7-8 years ago. And my first cigar, everybody knows, was a Rocky Patel Special Reserve Sun-Grown Maduro. And I got to the end before I got my tool where I could hold the number.
Yep.
Right. And by the end, I wanted to chew it. I wanted to eat it. It was so good. Of course, I didn't. But that's a good sign of a cigar. When I get the number tool out, right? When we get the number tool out, we know that's a good
Many
cigar.
times what I do, if I'm not lighting up right away, I leave the cigar for a long time in my mouth. Puffing like cold puff.
Oh, okay.
And tasting.
Even
Just for curiosity.
before lighting.
Yeah,
So
before.
you're doing a cold draw for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So you've spent 25 years learning tobacco.
Yeah.
You're thinking tobacco. When you sit and try and enjoy a cigar, are you able to sit back and just enjoy, or are you constantly like in your mind thinking about what's happening with the stick?
My job is very difficult to separate personal taste and technical taste. That's where you can make it a difference.
Right.
Okay. I'm trying tobacco. I'm tasting tobacco for example, that's a completely different experience or what I'm doing or how I'm smoking it. But weekend, I'm home, relax. First cigar for me, it's in the morning, early morning, before breakfast.
Yeah. Oh.
So you can get everything from the cigar because your palate is clean, and just a black coffee.
Yeah.
And I try not to think. Yeah.
How do you do that? My wife can do that, and she tells me all the time, just don't think. Like I can't.
It's difficult because knowing the technical part of smoking, how to smoking, a cigar or a blend technically, then you clear your mind. I'm in the morning. I just want to relax, and I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because I told you before, and I think everybody here knows, I used to teach.
Yeah.
I used to work in television, and I taught film and television, taught these guys. And one of the classes I taught was advanced film criticism, where
Yeah.
we'd watch content, I showed them how to watch, and they'd have to dissect and critique. So, every student say, you've ruined it for me, because now I'm watching at home, and my family's going, shut up, stop telling me, because they're noticing things and they're pointing them out, and they can't enjoy the whole thing. Now, I, of course, was like that myself. I can separate the two. I can imagine when you're so involved in what you do, that's got to be a tough divide.
Because you reach a level, then you know what is wrong, what is good. If it's not balanced, you know why. So sometimes you just don't think.
Yeah.
What I think is good for me or not.
Yeah.
I just enjoying. Now, if the cigar is plugged or is burning funky, that stuff, I get a little bit mad.
Do
and
you
then
stop?
I leave it. Oh yeah. I always say I have no time to smoke bad cigars. I know that's me. But
That's me too. I gotta agree. What's the point? I've
Yeah.
many times, not many. I shouldn't say many because I'm lucky. I've had some very good cigars, but there's a few times before I worked here where I can't say the name brands, but I've had a cigar particular brand, and I thought, okay, maybe it's this one stick or this one bat. I had another one, same problem. I gave it a third try.
yeah.
And I never finished them. I went through halfway, maybe. I had one cigar. Again, I can't say the name. This has only happened to me once. I had one or two puffs, and I know I should go further. I said, I was like, no way. I got angry.
Yeah.
I got angry at it.
For example, one of the worst things that can happen to me when the cigar turns bitter. The bitterness in a cigar is something that I cannot handle. Because if there is a level of bitterness that has to be in the cigar because the tobacco is bitter too.
Right.
And it's four tastes. It's sweet, sour, salty, and bitter. If you take off the bitterness from a cigar, you're losing 25% of the taste because it's only four. Right? I'm not talking about if it smells coffee, chocolate, cocoa beans, and that stuff.
It's like cooking.
I'm talking taste in your palate, in your tongue, right? So if you are missing bitterness, you miss 25% of the taste because only four, right? But it has to be controlled. Right. It has to be balanced. It has to be just a hint of bitterness to have that taste. When it overpowers, when it turns into that dirty bitterness and you want to drink something to wash your palate, it's done for me. It's not for me.
Wow. Does that happen often to you?
Now less and less.
Okay.
But 10 years ago, a lot more.
Yeah. Now, would it be because that particular blend, or was it because that particular stick or batch was a bad batch? Like, what did you? Could
I
you
would
figure
say
that out?
that they are not blends that they are bad. There are people that they make blends that they are bad.
Right. Same
Because
ingredients.
It's just a way to put the leaves inside a cigar. The
Yeah.
quantities, and you have to see which one is bitter more than another one and balance the blend.
Fair.
I mean, I would say, I'm saying this like it's easy. It's extremely difficult, especially when you have a certain tobacco so you want to work with and you don't want to change that. So quantities, I mean, if your level of bitterness, let's say, is 7 out of 10, it's going to be difficult to have a 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
If you have maybe 2 tobaccos that they are a little bit bitter. It's a way how you balance as well.
This is like cooking. I mean, like
It is.
everybody cook. I mean,
Yes.
everybody. Millions of people around the world cook every day, but there's a handful of restaurants compared to the people that cook at home. And then amongst those restaurants, there's a very small handful that are exclusively good. So it's similar in that way, I guess, right?
A chef is looking mainly for 3 different things: taste, texture, and presentation. If we are talking about certain level of cuisine, Taste, of course, it has to be a little bit sour to give you that saliva to have a mouth-watering sensation.
Right.
You are eating, you are like, this is good because of that saliva.
Yeah.
You know. Then the salt.
Yeah.
In a good restaurant, you don't need the salt on the table because the dish has to be salty at the perfect level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, different levels if you have meat or salad or whatever, right? And this is about the taste. Complexity of taste and the balance of the taste, right? Then the texture that I can translate in a cigar like the body of the cigar,
Right. Right.
right?
Like a
If it
creamy
has
Connecticut versus like,
a very
Maduro.
spicy, dry mouth, strong cigar, for example.
Yeah.
So no, you have in cuisine that the texture there's to be something crunchy, something creamy, and you're looking for that. Then the presentation. In a cigar, I can say the wrapper, the ash. I can say even the ring.
Yeah.
It's
That's something we're going to talk about a little later on. I want to touch upon that too.
Yep.
So like when I used to produce, speaking of the process now, when I used to produce television, my favorite part was conceptualizing the idea stage at the beginning, and then working with the people who were much more talented than me to bring those ideas to fruition. And then so that was my favorite part, the ideas. Second favorite was seeing it finally come to fruition. And then, once in a while, the good audience numbers, and once in a while an award or two. For you, describe to me the process, and in your opinion, what your favorite part of the process is.
Before the favorite part, a blend, it is 4, 5, 6, 7, 3.5, or whatever leaf together to smoke in a cigar.
Right.
There's no other definition. Okay? Tobacco leaves.
You simplify it too easy. Come on.
Wait a second. So, leaves of tobacco, of course, on the process of fermentation, the seed, and all that stuff. But the blend is not only that. For me, for my philosophy of blending, blend is a project. It's an idea that has to be translated into taste, flavor, balance, and consistency. It sounds a little bit like easy.
It makes it sound so simple. Come on.
But it is. It is because you have to put, the items in its place and then to take care of them. You cannot miss one or you cannot forget one. Balance. You can have the best flavor in a cigar, perfect construction. And if it's not balanced, you lost everything. So that chain from the seed down to the ash has to be respected. But you have to have clear in your mind of what you want to achieve, not only what you want to use. Because I can say, I found a wrapper that is 15 years old, just 3 times 3 crops, and then it's very rare and blah, and this and that. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Right.
If a cigar dries my mouth, I need a glass of water every time I smoke it. So it's not pleasant for me. So it's not a balanced blend. And I can keep going with other things, but aroma, balance, consistency.
Fair. Yes. Now, but the missing ingredient, of course, is the passion that you have to have in order to care for that balance, right?
2 things, passion and curiosity.
Curiosity, yeah.
If you don't keep your curiosity even higher your passion, you cannot achieve certain things. So you cannot risk on certain things, and you gotta be always open. That kind of mindset, like let me try. How it works. So
do you like a scientist hypothesize, and then experiment until you finally come to that magic?
It could be, yes. It depends. Sometimes if you start from a wrapper that you like, the color, the texture, how it burns. You can have always the wrapper crop by the crop. It is consistent in taste and color. Then we are like, okay, I need to use this wrapper. I like it. Then you build a blend based on that. So
You're saying you could start that way.
You could.
Do you typically start that way?
It depends.
Yeah.
For example, I have someone that I'm consulting. He goes like, okay, Claudio, I want a cigar that it tastes like this, and that. And I'm like, okay. From where I start. Because I have to translate his mind into a cigar.
Right.
So then it gets a little bit more complicated. But it depends on where you start. But you have to have that idea in mind that I want to achieve this.
So if you're coming up with a blend that's purely your idea, that's one thing. But as a consultant, like you just said, you are having to answer to a client something very, very subjective. So there must be a lot of back and forth, or is it simply the trust?
Now that I have a little bit more experience, I said the 4 pages of questions. But just no, I'm not laughing because I'm doing this, but because it's difficult sometimes to pick your mind,
Of course.
especially in something that goes up in smoke.
Yeah.
If it was a bottle of wine, okay, I want to like the dry fruits or red fruits or tannins, this and that. It's measurable, very easily.
Yeah.
Okay. In cigars, a lot more difficult because it's smoke.
Right.
So sometimes I can feel he doesn't even know, or it is not clear in his mind what he wants. So I have not only to translate, but to understand his idea. That's why the blend is an idea that you have to have many different things then to achieve.
It's much like dealing with a client in my world, where you have to, like if they just say want this, if you say okay, that's a very green mistake.
Yeah.
You have to question, spend a lot of time at that stage. So going back to that, then, what is your favorite part of that process? Then, like what do you enjoy the most? Do you enjoy that ideation stage, or are you waiting for that aha moment when you light it up and go, okay?
One of the best thing, trying the tobaccos. No, not even the blend. When I clearly understand that the idea behind the blend, it's tobaccos. So I go one by one and then start in building the blend.
Yeah.
Okay. I achieve the blend 100%. Then it's the production of that blend. Because sometimes one wrapper you don't process the wrapper like every other wrapper. If it's an Havana in Connecticut or other things.
San Andres. Yeah.
So it is the process as well to have the final cigar as you thought that you wanted to have.
So it is the aha moment then for you.
Yeah. But there is always a moment blending. You have to say, that's it.
Right.
If you keep trying, you make a blend like in 2.5 years. And sometimes the time is shorter than 2 years.
What is the shortest time that you've been asked to come to a conclusion?
Couple of months.
Wow. You can go from like meeting somebody to a cigar being lit in a couple of months.
Yes.
I
mean, I can say that I made those cigars, partnering with someone in Nicaragua that it gives me like a completely freedom of trying, blending everything. And I knew already, a lot of the tobaccos I was going to use.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit easier to achieve it in 2 months.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your relationship with the farmers, with the actual cultivators themselves? Not the factory runners, but the actual people in the field. Like, do you have a relationship with them, or is it mostly you trust the person who's the boss?
Now I'm at the level that partnering with few factories, I know what they buy, when they buy, and from who.
Yeah.
But when I had the factory in Nicaragua and I was visiting them, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Breakfast together, rice and beans at 5 o'clock.
Nice.
Then smoking a cigar and then going into the farm.
Going into the farm.
You gotta go early in the morning.
So you're walking amongst the rows of tobacco plants.
So many times.
Excellent. They see that to me, that's pure. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So I guess that answers your favorite part of the process. What's the flip side now? What's been some of the worst times in your career? Some of the I made a mistake, or this was not enjoyable. What's some like really some shitty time that happened in the business? Let's not talk about too deep.
No. It was. I thought it was a mistake, but at the end it turned into one of the best blend I did.
The penicillin moment. Right? A mistake that becomes something special.
The cigar was called the Liga Maestro.
Okay, yeah.
And
it's one of your favorite cigars that you've blended, right?
Yeah. At the end, it took almost 3 years to achieve what I wanted.
Wow.
Because when I discovered that wrapper, it was just the second crop. So the wrapper wasn't consistent. Sometimes it was burning funky, colors. It was very, very difficult. But I said that this is going to be the wrapper. So in the very beginning, when I saw some cigar burning funky and that stuff, I was like, oh, well, what I did. Why I did this and why I'm doing this. But I kept confident. I visited so many times the farmer. that after 3 years, the wrapper got into the consistency we were looking for, colors, everything, and it was just spectacular. I mean,
See-
people responded like, yeah, it was worth it, like the 3 years of work on it.
So that's to me, that's a lesson learned in anything that we do is you know, if you stumble, if you hit a wall, if you think you've completely effed everything up, there's something to be learned from that process.
Yes.
That's the blueprint idea of what you're talking about right there.
You know, it's risky, very risky.
I'm sure there's a lot of money involved. I'm sure too.
Yes,
Time.
sometimes collaterals are painful, but you know, sometimes the risk is worth it.
Sure.
And it
Feel
was
you.
at the end. It was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lesson learned for sure. Let's play a game. Okay. So, and this is a
Should I
game.
be scared or happy?
No,
to
this
play
is
again?
easy. This is easy for you. Okay. So what we're gonna do, Kayla, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna name a country or a region, and I want you just like first thoughts that come to mind related, of course, to cigars. So this is gonna be not rapid fire, quick, but just the first thought that comes to mind. Okay.
Okay. You excuse myself in the very beginning if I take a few seconds just to get
No,
into
of course.
game.
I'm not that strict. I mean, I'm not Kayla. Kayla would be strict. Kayla's very strict with the rules,
Okay,
whatever.
allow a few seconds.
Okay, so play the game. Here we go. Tell us what you think. Dominican Republic.
Where I was born.
Okay. You were born. Where
About
the master
tobacco.
where the master was born. Okay,
Yes.
okay. Mexico.
Whoa! Mexico, I spent a lot of time. I even made a documentary about the tobacco in Mexico, and it's a surprise.
Oh, it's still in the making.
Yeah,
Okay.
surprise. It's a surprise.
Okay.
Mexico, yeah, surprise.
Veracruz? Was it in Veracruz?
Oh yeah, San Andres.
Yeah,
San
San-
Andres de Tuzla.
Okay. Brazil.
Still to discover.
Still to discover.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't talk enough about Brazil.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I had my hands on some Brazilian tobacco. I tried to blend, and I was very, very surprised. Very surprised.
In a good way, I assume.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
So future, Brazil, perhaps.
I don't want to say future, but still to discover, this origin of tobacco.
Fair. Okay. Peru. I knew that. Kayla knew that wouldn't get you. Kayla suggested that one.
Peru, the most intense tobacco experience in my life.
See, that's going to be a whole other podcast, a whole other live stream.
Yes.
It sounds like. Okay. Nicaragua. That's another podcast.
Yeah, no, maybe two. Maybe two. Nicaragua, powerful.
Okay.
Yeah. In every sense, in every, direction of the word, the powerful.
Okay. Wow. That's heavy. That's loaded. I like that.
Yeah.
Jamaica.
Yeah.
Moving on. Cameroon.
Difficult. Yes. Difficult tobacco to work, difficult tobacco to get, and difficult country, I should say.
Okay.
So let's see.
Perfect. Kentucky.
Classic, beautiful. Not really into
Fire cured.
the classic premium handmade cigars that we know,
Yeah.
but it could be another surprise.
Oh, okay. I like this. I like this. We're getting like hints, teasers.
yeah.
Okay. And finally, Connecticut.
That's because it's a difficult one.
Sure.
Connecticut, we know the name, we know what it means, we know what it represents for premium cigars, because of course it's a major page of history of tobacco and cigars. So I keep confident Connecticut will always be there because quality, monster quality. So
Yeah.
and it's a I call it a friendly tobacco. I cannot say it's easy, to blend, but it's always there. I can blend with many different things. So it's up to you to
Right.
use Connecticut as it should be.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good. This was a good game. Okay, so speaking of terroir, why should one care about where tobacco is from? Or tobacco is from, yeah.
Phew. That's a difficult one. Why? stereotypes, they are there. We should forget them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because I can say Jalapa, one main region of Nicaragua, tobacco is sweet. Yeah, it is true. But then it depends how you use it.
In that complex blend and
yes,
balance.
of course. So, it's a difficult one. Yeah.
Okay.
Origin. Yeah. I would say take care more of who's making the cigars and then where. Because, for example, 20 years ago, okay, you smoke any Dominican cigar or any Nicaraguan cigar, okay, you would have always that little dry mouth and bitterness from one very famous tobacco in Nicaragua, in Dominican Republic. They still used a lot, but now they're blending in a different way, and they use new tobaccos. So forget that the Dominicans are light and mild, are bitter, and dry your mouth. Doesn't exist anymore that. So why to say Dominican Republic? Watch the manufacturer first, who's making the cigars, and then where they make them. Because, a Dominican cigar, an Honduran cigar, cigars are made very well. The draw is perfect, the ash and everything. So who's making the cigar first, and then where are they from?
Who's making?
Because, for example, in Nicaragua or in Dominican Republic, we use tobaccos from everywhere. From Ecuador, from Nicaragua, from Dominican Republic. So for a blender or a master blender, now it's even, we have more options. So in Dominican Republic, we can make blends that they are not 100% Dominican taste. Taste could be different, but made in Dominican Republic. Now, if we talk tobaccos that are better coming from Dominican Republic or Nicaragua or Brazil or Honduras or whatever, that's another conversation. But cigars, don't look only for the origin.
Yeah, that question is as complex as blending a cigar. Yeah. Okay, so on that note, then, what are some of the common myths that make you shake your head, make you go, no?
Give me an example.
Well, like the one you just said, where it's from will dictate taste, will dictate flavor.
Connecticut is mild and it's only for the morning. That's wrong.
That's wrong.
And I can tell you, once I made a few Connecticut that were not full body, but, almost, and spicy. And people were like, why you put Connecticut? How does it taste? Wonderful. So, why you ask? It's a wonderful cigar, so don't stick on Connecticut mild or Nicaraguan spicy and strong or Dominican bitter. No, it's like wine. Okay?
Yeah.
30 years ago, who was drinking Argentinian wine?
My father.
But it wasn't famous like
no.
Malbec. Why the Malbec
from
Argentina is the best? There is a reason. So don't stick just to the origin and that thing and stereotypes that they are like closing your horizon on cigars and origins and manufacturers and everything. Just make sure that cigars are made well.
Stay curious.
Then your taste, of course, your personal taste, but it's a problem with education as well. Today I said the Malbec, we know more about wine.
Right.
Why? In the last 30 years, the wine industry did so much education. Now you know a little bit about Spain, Italian wines, the Bordeaux. Bordeaux, everybody goes like, oh yeah, they're expensive. But they know.
Yeah. Or Beaujolais, or Pinot Noir. Pinot, if I hear the word Pinot in this region...
Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir, ouais. Je parle français aussi.
Oh, ben oui, ça c'est bien.
But you hear, because it's more accessible. Wine is more accessible because there's not as many restrictions.
And education about wine. What we didn't do in the last 30 years was so much education. 15 years ago, we started with education. So today, cigar smokers are a little bit more educated, but I still feel we should do more.
Now, with regulations, of course, smoking laws and so on, and I want to talk about what you told me about Costa Rica a little later. But the issue there is, where do you trust the education? I mean, I can go to Tobacconist University and get my sommelier degree. Mm-hmm. I can come to Cigar Chief and talk to the people out front, or talk to Kyle in the back who knows his stuff. But where would you tell a person who, say, is living on the other side of the country who can't come here? Where do you go to get that education? Can you trust YouTube?
That's the problem, because manufacturer, master blender, we are busy. But we should make more education. We shouldn't allow to have someone that nobody knows that started smoking cigars 5 years ago that now is giving lessons.
Right.
I mean, lesson, or I don't want to say better, worse, or whatever. Sommelier, wine, spirits, or whatever, that translate 100%, even with the same language, into cigars.
Right.
I'm like, maybe these days we have too much of young people about cigars and knowledge to teach.
To teach,
right?
no. Yeah.
Instead to experience first and then to teach.
It's like news. These days, what news channel do you trust versus the opinion news? And now we're not going to get into that, but the same thing. There's so many of these kind of social media channels and so on. Now, you can trust Cigar Chief, and Cole and I and Kayla will admit, we are not experts here to teach you. We're here to share and have conversation.
But that's a good thing, because then you are trying, to show education.
Yeah.
You are not saying the cigar is like this, this, and this.
No.
And I can tell you more. Sometimes we get started into flavors, into the aromas. The cigar, first, third, second, and third.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And then you smell this, you smell that, you smell this.
Yeah.
I'm like, cigars is not only this.
Right.
If I say aging, who knows about aging cigars? So many theories, so many different things, and time, and temperature, and humidity. So there we make a mistake. Because we allow people that they don't know that, to make education on something that they just heard.
Right.
Or I told you about, keep the cigars at 22 degrees and not 20. The problem is not that. The problem is why. So the why on cigars is still to discover.
Right. And how do we do that? Do we do that through inviting people like yourself, a multitude of people?
Yes, you should
to get varying opinions.
Yeah,
and
manufacturer,
various
blenders, people that have been in factories, people that are exposed a lot to tobacco and cigars, not only cigars. And then, it's always difficult because even you want to do education, how you do it, you got to be simple. First of all, I don't want to stay 2 hours listening to Claudio talking about, the chemicals, compounds, and mineral salt. And
I'll tell you right now,
I want to just smoke a cigar. I want to enjoy a cigar. I don't.
Yeah, exactly. What I like the most about cigars, and we talk about this all the time, it's not necessarily that we're talking about the cigar. The cigar is the elixir, the vehicle that carries the conversation. And the